Hello and welcome. Today we're in a very unique Spanish village of Barcena Mayor. It's very charming and traditional. It feels like time has stood still. So I'm going to show you around the place in a minute, and I think you'll find you've probably never been anywhere else like it in Spain. But just quickly, for those of you who've never been here before and have not been watching the series, let me tell you why we're here. Spain, the land of sun, sea and sangria. I really thought I knew this country. I genuinely felt like I'd experienced everything it had to offer. So around 15 years ago, I decided I'd probably never return. But I realised now that I was letting my ego make judgments I had no right to make. So now I'm back and the blinkers are off. In this series, I'll be searching for Spain's most beautiful towns and villages. Join me as I discover the Spain I never knew. It really was a beautiful drive here, but as I approached the village, there was suddenly no entry signs in front of me and I was funneled into this car park. Bringing vehicles into the village is actively discouraged. Access is restricted to residents and business owners. Everybody else has to park in that car park. And then you walk up this little pathway and you enter the village, which is nice. Barcena Mayor really is a very, very typically traditional village. But later today, that car park is going to become instrumental in bringing a little Italian pizzazz to this place. Keep watching till the end of the video and you'll see what I mean. Oh, and when you do get to that point, you're probably going to have 3 questions in your mind. The answer to the first question is 44. The town's located at an altitude of 495 metres in the Argoza River Valley, and it's got a population of 57 inhabitants. According to the tourist board, it's the oldest town in the Cantabria region. In fact, you'll still find an old Roman road here which has been used for 2 millennia. The houses with their wooden balconies and windows are great examples of medieval rural stone construction. The height of the surrounding mountains brings an early onset to dusk and a late dawn. From the 1920s through to the 1970s, it was also a favourite hunting site for wealthy sportsmen who liked the seclusion of the place and the abundance of wild game. And it was also a popular hunting spot for Iberian wolves and the Iberian brown bear until they were hunted to almost extinction. There aren't any wolves or bears left in this area, but there is still a small population of about 350 in a nearby place called Asturias, which is somewhere I'll be visiting soon. Make sure you subscribe so that you get to see the video when it comes out. Throughout the 9th century, the area underwent a repopulation process, especially around churches and monasteries. These lands belonged to feudal lords who managed them according to the customary practices of the time. Barcena Mayor and some of the other surrounding villages formed what was called a behetria, which was the name given to settlements that had the right to elect their own lord. Then what they could do is negotiate their own terms in exchange for the lord's protection. As well as being renowned for its well-preserved architecture, this village is also known for its rural cuisine, such as cocido montanes or game meat.
A la 1:30 de cabezón, ¿vale?
I made a series last year called the French Riviera Street Tours, and as I spent time in the south of France visiting similar places to these, but in a different style, I noticed that they had lots of wash houses, former wash houses should I say. They preserve them and make a big thing out of them, but I've got to say they really gone to town on this one. I really like what they've done with it. There really is very little in the way of normal tourist stuff that they put in these places. You know, like lots of little shops selling trinkets and what have you. There are hardly any of those here. There's just these couple of little bits. But what there is a few places as you walk around that seem like they're actually the people's houses, but they sort of open up their workshop and you can see them working on traditional crafts, mostly with wood. There was a lot of carpentry around here. Obviously when you look at these houses with all these windows and wooden balconies and the like, you can see why there would need to be people with carpentry skills. And as you walk around, you sort of bump into these people just setting out a few tables and then starting work. It's lovely to see. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that we're in the Argoza Valley. The Argoza is a river and it cuts right through the town. That's what we can hear now walking up the hill.
ahí cuánto hay. Sí.
Tiraremos aquí para abajo, ¿ves? sí puedo y viene una pila de papeles ahí para rellenar y yo me cago en uno. Así que yo voy mañana a la rapaz, si bien, pues si el rapaz no está en ahí, no, ni me da más dinero.
Muchas gracias. It's almost 1:30, so we'll have a quick look at this 17th century church and then we'd better head off out of the village because it's time to get Italian. So the answer to your first question was 44. There's 44 Ferraris that have converged on this tiny little town. You may be asking what the second and third questions are. First was obviously how many, and the second is who are these people? My third question is what are they doing here and why did they choose here? Well, I had a good look round on the web to find out who these people are, and I'm sorry to tell you I've got no idea. I couldn't find anything about this event, nothing at all. As to the third question though, I've given this a bit of thought and I think I know why they picked here to have it, despite this place not encouraging vehicles at all. It's pretty simple. I was thinking about if I was a Ferrari owner, what would make me come here? And the obvious answer is the mountain roads are amazing. I can't think of a better place to drive to. Now, when I was younger, I was really into cars. I could name every single car on the road. I knew every one. But as I've got older, I've become a bit less interested really. And now, I have to confess, I probably couldn't name one Ferrari from another. So if any of you know what any of these vehicles are, just put the timestamp in the comments and tell us what the name is. Thanks for watching.